Woohoo!
Woo!
Hello.
There we go. Yes. And
We
this
are-
time it went better than last time. Oh, man. It's been a week already.
Yeah, it's been a week.
God damn, that went by fast.
Oh, these things
Yeah.
happen.
Time
man.
flies. Yeah.
Hashtag what is time?
What is
What is time? What is time? What is time, man?
time? Has
Oh.
no meaning.
So, how are you guys doing, man? Ron,
I'm doing all right.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. Yeah. Haven't been sleeping well, so that sucks. You know.
You haven't been sleeping well.
I haven't been sleeping well. Yeah, I don't know what's up. I mean, I think it started when the time changed. It kind of threw off my clock completely, and now I'm like, it's hard for me to get back into like a sleeping groove. So,
All right.
yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ron. That sucks.
Yeah, it's not cool. Usually I take a nap around like a 45-minute nap, and I'm good for the rest of the day. So I'll probably do that later.
Siesta.
Yeah.
Siesta.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Michael?
You
How are you
know,
doing?
I'm doing very well. I got some really cool news today. I can't really talk about, but it was definitely welcome. And yeah, you know, we're hanging in. I got some cool books yesterday that I got to read, and that was fun. And now we're hanging out here about to talk about teamwork.
Nice.
Hashtag teamwork.
Very, very cool. One thing I do, I think I want to start off every episode or at the end, like asking if you read anything for that week. You know, if
Right.
read anything new, or if not, you know, just
I'll shill and chill for Matt Krotz.
Okay.
So the books that I read yesterday were Wild Tales of Kyrie, which I believe is still in demand. Absolutely fantastic, by the way. Bristolian Dave saying, "Congrats, Michael! So happy for you."
Oh yeah. Bristolian Dave. Woo! Time for this
Hello,
one.
Brazilian. How's it
Welcome.
going? Yeah.
Welcome to the party, and
Welcome, man.
we're glad to have you here. But yeah, so Matt Krotz, Wild Tales of Kyrie, I'd give these a 4.5 out of 5 stars. They're really good.
Wow.
Very
So
cool.
it's 2 issues? Or-
Yeah. So effectively, for those of you guys who don't know, Kyrie is a book by Matt Krotz that takes place in Roman Imperial Egypt.
Wow.
In Alexandria.
That's especially.
Oh yeah, no, like it's like literally it was one of my favorite books. And he's already had 2 books so far. They're absolutely fantastic. But one of the big notes that he got was, you know, as good as Kyrie is, it's more suspense than there is any action. Like there's a lot of dialogue, it's a lot of political intrigue and everything. So he did this Wild Tales anthology books that are set in the same universe that go across different periods of time, right? And they're absolutely fan-friggin-tastic. I think I liked this one the most because the first story in here is like the first part of this whole storyline of like it's Watson telling Sherlock Holmes an adventure from when he was serving back in Afghanistan.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's John Watson with 2 other British officers that are in his in this like little gentleman's club together. Like they're a part of a gentleman's order, which is a very prominent thing back in Victorian London. It still actually exists today, but like he gets brought in with these guys to be a medic, and they're going after this cursed treasure that is also being hunted by some rogue Indian lancers who are trying to get this in order to get money into their coup that they're trying to throw against England. It's really, really good stuff. I think that one was probably my favorite but like this book has like a whole bunch of different stories in it, and so does the first one. All of them are just great. Really good page turners.
All right, that sounds awesome. What about you, Dave? What have you been reading? Anything?
I've also read something. I got this yesterday. Let me.
Siamese,
yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I've read that one.
By Brian Menard. I just received it yesterday, and so I haven't finished it just yet. It's 4 single issues combined. I've read the first half though, so the first 2 issues, and then so it's basically this. So
Art looks really
yeah,
good.
the art is pretty nice, but halfway through the book, it changes artists.
Uh-huh.
You have a different artist, and I must say the second artist is more to my liking.
Mm-hmm.
This style, it's
no, I completely agree because I think I've only read the first 2 issues.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
But like I will say that definitely seems like an upgrade in art. Who did he get to come on for the books after the first 2?
After the first 2, the artist. Let me see who he is, if I can find it. Let me see. Written art by Zilson Costa.
Oh, actually, I know who Silzen is. He's doing some stuff for me, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Small world, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
That's that freelance game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah. So yeah, and the things that I like about this book is how each issue introduces new characters
Mm-hmm.
slowly. So you just build, that was good. But one thing that had me wonder a little bit was, what are the Siamese? Because I don't know much about them yet after 2 issues. Basically,
And the book is about them, right? I assume.
yeah.
The name, yeah.
So you can tell that Brian likes to build this universe,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's important while you do that you also tell the story of the main characters, So
Yeah.
and that second part I was missing a little bit, but maybe with issue 3 we get to learn more about them. And
Cool.
and,
And that's easier to forgive when it's in a graphic novel format like that. I think
Right.
if they were to be released individually, I think you'd be a little less forgiving, like But then it's all there, so you kind of expect it later on,
And look at this, man! All these are prints that
Okay.
came with it. I've never seen this many prints.
Wow, that is wow. How many is there? Whoa,
Like 11 or 12 prints. It's
my goodness.
insane. And it came with a little extra book
That's awesome.
and this coin. This coin is really pretty.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's a nice challenge coin.
Those are some nice perks, some nice little extras. Yeah.
Looks it's pretty heavy too. So
Wow.
nice stuff.
All
I'm
right.
not sure. I think the campaign is still up. I'm not sure. Let me see. Oh, no, it's close. It's close.
Okay. Wow. Maybe they'll do another one, a second chance later on for when they do the next part of the story. I'll get.
By the way,
it.
Brian, the creator, will be on A Drink with Brink next Sunday. So this Sunday, the day after.
Well, I'll be.
Brian's a really good dude. Really,
excellent.
Really nice guy.
So I actually just read Peregrine by
that's
Graded
right
0.5. Huh? Yeah,
it's fulfilling right now.
It's fulfilling right now. Finally,
yes,
after a while, it's actually fulfilling right now. And this is one of the first campaigns that I backed back when I started, doing campaigns. I actually did an interview with the creators, like when it was on, when it was going on, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Usually when you're waiting for so long for a campaign, you usually end up getting disappointed. But this was not the case. This was really, really solid. I thought the main character was pretty likable. Some of the dialogue could use a little work, and the pacing was a little off, but not enough to ruin the enjoyment of the book. And the main character is really cool. So
it looks really pretty.
Yeah. I mean, you can see some of the artwork here. How good it is.
I remember the first time I heard about it, I was doing I was promoting, I think, Pyramid Gambit on Peter Samedi's 5-minute pitch show.
Mm-hmm.
And Piper was going on before me. And so she was talking about it, and it was like this kind of love letter to like the Silver Age, Legion of Superheroes kind of deal, where it's like the next generation of characters.
Yeah.
it was a response to not having those kind of icons in the crowdfunding.
Look at the dynamic. Like this panel right here is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it
Great
looks
stuff.
great.
Is this book bigger than the standard comic book size?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a
No.
trade.
It's the same
Same
size as a
size?
regular
Oh,
comic. Yeah,
okay,
see,
okay.
Really? How many
Yeah.
pages is that? That's got a perfect bind on it.
it does, but it's the same, dimensions as a regular comic.
Well, I mean, yes, no, it's going to be the 6.85 by 10.
Oh, that's what you
10.5.
okay.
But like I would
don't
say
know how many
that
pages
that
it
as a
is.
page count has to be over 60 pages. So like
And
I'd say
actually,
that's
what
closer to a trade paper.
the really cool thing is that in the back, I had my artist back in the day do some art of my character Paragon Prime and Peregrine, so you can see that right there.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Woo,
so
amazing.
that's pretty cool.
It's
And it was a good book. I enjoyed it.
It was the first appearance of Paragon Prime printed.
I suppose so. Yes, it is the first appearance of Paragon Prime printed in an actual comic book. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right.
Let me say hi to the Graphic Goose. Welcome, Graphic Goose.
Hello.
And it's just Ugg.
Yes, just that's Charlie. He's actually part of my my writing team. How's it going,
Oh,
Charlie?
right.
Yeah. He's part of the Paragon Prime family of creators. Think tank. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the theme I was just putting up this I was making the visuals for this episode, and I was thinking, what should the theme be? I think we should keep these things pretty loosely. It's but something to anchor the topic, So you working with different writers to actually develop the characters, Ron?
Yeah,
that's a
I
team
am.
effort, right?
It's a team effort. Yeah, I brought in some incredibly talented people that I don't deserve because they're so damn good, and I don't know why they're not working in the industry. Like why are you not doing more? Because they're amazing people. They're super creative and super talented. So yeah, I put out a tweet a while ago asking if people want to help me build this universe and help me build other characters, and I got a couple of great responses from some really amazing people like Charlie here and Jared, and Anime Sparkster is also helping me a lot. And last night, actually a good example of good teamwork is last night I was on we chat on Discord, and I was I posted like, you know what, I have this villain that I want to develop further. So I put in the chat the bio that I had for him and a couple of references of what I want to look like. And then Jared, which he's great, but he always challenges me and gets my creative juices going. So he asked me all these questions, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to answer these. I haven't thought about this. But then, like, the kind of slight annoyance goes away, and you start thinking about how to solve these problems. And you do, and then it just gets the creative juices flowing, and you're bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's really exciting when that happens. I love that kind of collaboration, and what if this? Oh, what if this? Oh, this is a really cool idea. Yeah, I like that idea. It's I love that kind of energy. With a good team and a good group of people that you work well with. Yeah.
Right. So it helps you to develop characters when you have people to bounce your ideas at, and they come.
Yeah.
Come back.
I like being challenged too. So when someone, oh well, this doesn't make sense. How does this work? And then you're like, oh wow, I never thought about that. I never figured that out. And then you just you kind of think about it, and like, oh, okay, well, so you solve it right there. Okay, so that problem presented itself. So bam, I have the solution for it. And I have a good team for that.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So this one character you told me about before we started,
Vesuvius, which is the character that you and I had like similarities with, right? You were going to name your character Vesuvius.
Yeah, we had
right?
the same kind of character. This volcano dude called Vesuvius, the same name even. And I was about to, I had already written the script for the next issue of Perfect 10. This character is in there, and I was like, damn it! So I just changed the name. So mine is not, it's not called the same anymore. There was still time; it wasn't printed yet, so it's all
So
good.
I assume that when you did that, you kind of changed his story a little bit because he's no longer tied to the Pompeii disaster, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But was simple fix.
It was
Wasn't
simple
too
fix.
much.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, we hashed it out. We came up with some really cool ideas, and now we pretty much have that story kind of locked down. We just got to write it, but we have like the bones of that story, which is great.
Right. So do you always work with other writers when you write a script?
No, not always. I can, I do some of it myself. I develop a lot of characters myself and stories myself, but it really helps make your story better when you have people to talk to about it. It's always great. Do you have that, Dave? Yeah, you have a team of good people you trust? No,
not really.
No.
I see how it is.
Usually, usually I'm just working alone, but with some projects when I'm involved with other writers like Michael, then there's more interaction back and forth about the context but apart from that, the writing process is pretty much a lonely job for me. Yeah. What about you, Michael? Do you develop ideas with other people?
I've been hired to do that. At this point. Oh God. With Nine Realms Publishing, I have in the past year written over a dozen scripts and have workshopped 4 completely independent IPs, and I'm doing a few books that have a bunch of public domain characters. Like, Dave knows this very well. I do Elysian Fields, which is, effectively Mortal Kombat with heroes from mythic legend from all the different cultures around the world. So I obviously didn't create any of those people, but they exist.
That reminds me of video game Smite. Is it anything like that?
Yeah, no, there's I had heard about Smite after I'd already done it, but there's a kind of similarity to that. And then I'm doing a historiographic retelling of the Trojan War that I started writing the script on, and it's really fun to be able to do that because that whole process technically started back when I was trying to write novels, and I could never really figure out the right angle that I wanted to tell my version of the Trojan War. And so it's fun getting to do that in a comic script, and it's been really fun working on that. Mm-hmm. But I honestly, I haven't brought in a lot of people solely because I've only been doing this for a year. Dave has been doing this for a hot minute, so he's actually been able to build up a good deal of his properties and what have you. And there's faith in his brand. And while I'm certainly on the way to there, I would say that I need another year or two in the industry to really start getting enough revenue streams in and building enough of an audience to really warrant me going out and hiring other creators, hiring other writers to come in and do stuff. Now, I have had certain people approach me about them doing their own book and everything and crowdfunding their book, but doing it under the Nine Realms label. I have had a few people ask me about that, and that is really exciting. And that's something that I am definitely looking at doing. And I have at least one person. I have one person definitely that is doing that, and I'm very excited to be working on that. And we're ready to talk more about that, then we will. But as I said, this is a whole thing of growth. For me, my focus has been trying to do as much stuff on my own to showcase my range as a writer,
right,
and showcase the different type of things that I can handle with each characters. Because it's we have the Embrace, we have Elysian Fields, then we're going to have Promokoi, which is that historiographic book. I have Errand of the Sable Knight on Webtoon.
You got a ghost in there. You got a ghost. Dave has ghosts.
Yeah.
His house is haunted.
But like I have Aaron to the Sable Knight on Webtoon, which is kind of my love letter to Arthurian lore. Mm-hmm. So it's I tried to really showcase what I can do as a writer. So that way, if somebody is like, hey, I need a good writer to write something, I can get other work, because I'm at a point in time where it's like, I'm just like any other person in this part of the industry. If I can take some freelance work to do stuff, whether it's writing, whether it's editing, I'll take the work, because everything that I get from that is what I use to pay for my content that I'm creating right now, until I get to a point where the content is constantly bringing in a pretty steady flow of revenue.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. John Hansen just entered. Hey, John, welcome, man.
How's it going? I like your Star Fox avatar. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it seems like we all have kind of different techniques, different methods, I suppose. Which is, there's no right or wrong way to do this kind of stuff. So, it's just all different.
Yeah, but the thing is, with this little industry, you need to be able to depend on people, whether they're other writers or your artist or the letterer or the printer. There's so much going on, and you have all these little disciplines that the different people do. It's the chain, mm-hmm. and so it can take a little while before you have that strong network of people that you trust and you can work with and collaborate with. It took me many years, and now I'm pretty confident that with the teams I have now, that's the teamwork. Everyone understands what's going on, and
mm-hmm.
and they feel involved. I think one of the big factors in teamwork is make the people who work with you feel involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, that's why I started the Discord server. So whenever anybody has any question about anything, they can just go on there, and then we'll just all come together and just collaborate on something. So, I'm having this issue here. What do you guys think? Oh, well, I think this. I think, that's cool. So we all just bounce off each other, and it's. I love that energy. It's so amazing. It's so great.
Right. So Michael, you and Dean worked together on the Embrace, but you
correct.
So who came up with the initial concept? Because you developed it together, right?
So the way that this kind of happened is over the past year and a half, I've been going through a separation with my ex, and we have a 3-year-old son together. And the Embrace just kind of came to me as like one of these things where I was just having a rough day, and I had a lot of negative emotions, and I just kind of locked myself up in a room and started brainstorming this whole concept. And I really wanted to do my own kind of version of The Crow, was kind of like how this first started, because that's how I had kind of envisioned it initially. Mm-hmm. And you can have all the emotions, you can have all that to direct a narrative, to direct a story through, but there needs to be like a catalyst to kind of push that along. And I remembered, back when my ex and I were still together, we had just moved out of the apartment that we had lived at when I came back from deployment, and we were in this place right after James was born. And we got a notification, a news alert that a kid's body was found in this park that we used to walk through all the time. And it looked like it was a gang initiation. All evidence pointed to that. And so that kind of stuck with me, because you when you have that kid, and and thank you, It's Just You 82, he's saying, that book looks incredible, awesome concept, and very distinct character design. Yeah, Dean knocked that out of the park. That was one of the big reasons why I made Dean my co-creator on that book, was because I had this concept in my head, and I knew what I wanted his suit to do. I knew what I kind of was looking for, but I couldn't visualize it, right? And so I was starting to talk around to a bunch of people and asking, who they thought would be a good fit for this book. This book where it was like, I wanted this bond between the father and son to be the thing that propels his dynamic as a hero, this to kind of reverse the dynamic. Cause you always expect the parent to be saving the kid, but to have the crux of the story be the ghost of this dead child, this man's son, has come back to save his father from the emptiness he feels with his son's loss, the loss of this light in his life. And I talked to Lee Byron Carver, who's Kemosabe and has Company Men up on Indiegogo right now. A great looking book. And he was like, he hasn't really done much of anything, but I really think that you should talk to Dean James about this. And, I'd followed Dean because I saw him from these Comics Mate streams and everything like that. I had no idea he was an artist at the time. And Dean sent me some of his samples, like, okay, yeah, let's give this a go. And I told him what I was kind of looking to do with the character and what kind of visual inspirations I was going for and everything. And his first pencil draft was like damn near perfect. Made some tweaks here and there and what have you. And I think by the time that he sent me his second pencil draft, it was like, yeah, that's it. That's the design. And then within 2 weeks of that initial character design, I had the script written, the first draft.
Wow.
So you had mentioned that The Crow was an influence. I'm also sensing a little bit of the Spectre, DC's The Spectre in there.
I could definitely see that. Like I am not as familiar with the Spectre from a concept standpoint. I didn't really get into reading DC comics until the past, I'd say 7 years. Like I grew up, my brothers were big Marvel heads, so I was watching X-Men the animated series, Spider-Man, and these were the things that got me into comics. I read a lot of Spider-Man, a lot of Captain America, as you can tell by the hat. And so I didn't really get the appeal of DC outside of Batman the animated series and Justice League. Those are the only two things DC that I loved growing up. And beyond, but pretty much all of the animated shows that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s.
So more like maybe Ghost Rider then?
I would say there's a little bit of that, but like from a tonal standpoint, I'd say and I think we actually have this conversation when you were asking me about the Embrace and what have you, because we talked a bit about this last time. You had some concerns because it is a much darker book, and your whole thing is one of the things that you have an issue with the current state of the mainstream is that these books were initially intended for a young and maturing audience, but not. It was never supposed to be, guys getting ripped apart and everything like that. And I told you, I would say that a late 90s, early 2000s Ghost Rider is pretty comparable to what you would see in the Embrace as far as the level of violence is concerned. Because again, this character is driven partially by an 8-year-old kid. He has that innocence to him. He has he's the reason why they're a superhero. It's this bond that he has with his dad over, comics and everything like that. There is that softer nature to it. And I think that's really the way that we kind of distinguish ourselves from The Crow. James O'Barr has talked at length about how The Crow was born out of the loss of his fiance and the rage and the hurt and everything he felt because the love of his life was killed in a drunk driving accident, and it was something that he couldn't control. And so The Crow was very much this way for him to artistically get that rage out, to put that rage out in the world. And as a result, Eric Draven doesn't really have so much of a character arc. It's literally just him hunting. And you don't get that with the Embrace. The Embrace does have this whole thing where, Clarence does have that mindset where he wants this revenge and everything, but then that anger, that darkness inside of him is tempered by David, his son, and that's like that's the whole dynamic of the book.
That's beautiful. That is really compelling and really, really beautiful, and I can't wait to read that. That sounds amazing. It reminds me a little bit of how John Connor was with the Terminator and Terminator 2, how Terminator wanted to kill, but John Connor was like, no, we don't kill. Is that kind of a little bit like that?
That's literally like there is a scene in the Embrace where Clarence, they are the character, and Clarence tries to take the life of somebody. I won't go into who it is because I don't want to spoil anything. But David stops him and he says, "Remember justice, not vengeance."
That's great. That to me. Well, I was already on board with the book, but just listening to what you just said now, I'm even more excited to read it.
That's a good line too.
Yeah.
Justice, not vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
line. That's great.
So how much of did Dean have any influence on the story?
Not really initially, no. I think where Dean started to really impact some of the story, and I still write like all of the script and everything like that, but when we got the Barton brothers to do a special variant of the book, and that's really when the Embrace started to catch on, because people were like, the Barton brothers have a massive following. So they were drawing. I think Corey was coloring his Embrace color live. Like Malin was on and was watching Corey color it, and was like, "Wow, this is some of your best work." Like it was a really big thing. Like we started to actually get a lot of attention because of that. Dean hits me up because like my initial plan was to keep it more grounded. I wasn't going to be having a lot of supernatural foes or anything like that. It was going to be more, the Crow's going after it, like more like the Crow, in that the people he's going after are at a very distinct disadvantage, and it's more him just bringing these people to justice and stopping them than it would be. And it's like there is definitely some, the bad guys are a part of a gang that are based off of a real gang, and the setting of the book takes place in Alexandria, Virginia, where I lived before. Like, if you in the first 8 pages of the Embrace, Clarence goes to a metro station that if you look up, if you look up like I think it was Duke Street Metro, I think. Goodness, it was the one that like I lived closest to last time I lived in Alexandria, like right down the road, and like it straight up looks like anybody that has lived in that area will straight up see it and be like, "Wow, that's Alexandria, Virginia." Like I know that. Like a buddy of mine, when he read the book, he was like, "Does this take place in Alexandria?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And like that was the whole thing, is when we were initially doing this, I knew exactly, like, because I knew that this was like where I wanted it. That I wanted this place to
this
kind of
setting.
be.
You knew this was the setting.
And so I went out one night and took a whole bunch of pictures of the metro at night and everything, so that Dean would be able to capture the scene perfectly, and he did.
So you want to capture that atmosphere and that feel, that genuine feel. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Awesome,
great.
Yeah.
So with Pow, with
Oh yeah, Pow is amazing. I love his stuff so much.
And
I want to work with him on something, and me and Pow have discussed it, and it's gonna happen eventually. I'm gonna work with Pow on something. It's gonna be a thing.
One day. It'll happen one day.
I was so lucky to be able to do this project with Pow, and now we're doing it for the 3rd time, and even though we made 2 books together, I still often can't believe it. I'm such a fan of this guy's work, and if my entire universe looked the way Pau draws it, I would want to live there. It's so gorgeous, and
Yeah.
he's a real professional. We talk about teamwork. This guy, he comes from the industry, so he knows how to handle deadlines. He knows how to do the business part. It is no bullshit going on.
Yeah.
We know what we want, and he's connected with the story. So he likes the characters, he likes the story, and he's curious where are things going, and he throws in his suggestions, purely visual. It's nothing about the story. He completely trusts me in that aspect. It's more like he comes to me. I want to draw a double page spread with all this going on, and I'm like, okay, I will try to work it in. If we can make it happen, that would be awesome. So and so he's more visually, and sometimes I have this script, this scene in my head that needs to look a certain way, and send him the script. With other artists, sometimes I need to make layouts for them too, and with Pau that maybe happened once, and then I receive from him this layout, and it's often completely different from what I had in mind, but it's so much better. It's just his vision. It's his story too. It's his book also, and that's what I love. It's a combined effort.
Yeah. Also, he's a really nice guy. Like, he's really cool.
Hey, Marinus, welcome. Welcome, Marinus.
And I think that's also a big point. And that's something that Dave brought up. Like, it's also his project too. Now that is something that when I am looking for an art team or anything like that, like, as much as the talent is important, like, you obviously don't want to get someone that's going to give you bad art, right? So, like, obviously you look for that, but, like, if there's even a hint that the person that I'm talking to is just trying to do this for a paycheck and isn't as enthusiastic about the project as I am, I'm just I'll keep them in mind for future projects, but I'm not going to bring them on for the one that I was initially asking them for.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. Well, most of the first motivation is mostly they have this gig, they have this extra income, so that's reasonable. That's to be expected.
100%. But, like, if I send you the pitch and there isn't any excitement there, it's like, as much as I might like that artist or like their style or what have you, I'm at for me, and you guys might see this differently, but for me, I'm at a level where every single penny that I spend for the art, production, everything like that has to be invested wisely. It has, because, like, I am I've built this from the ground up. I built this on my own. I didn't have any loans. I just worked, and I had to budget out money to get started and everything like that. And so, if I'm going to bring on an artist, there has to be that enthusiasm. There has to be they when they read the pitch, it's got to be, oh man, I've always wanted to work on something like this. Like, that's when I go, okay, you're good, because like the moment that you have that, it becomes something, just like what Dave was saying. Is like, there will be times where Powell will come back with layouts that don't even register what Dave was necessarily putting on the page, but were so incredible. There's like, you know what? Yes, I mean, this is your project too, and that's what I look for a lot with the artists that I bring on. Is because I have to, like, in order to get the best work possible, it's not just about the money, it's about the emotional investment, it's about
and
the desire to work on it.
And I've noticed that about Pau. Whenever I put any new artwork for my book on Facebook, Pau always responds like, this is really cool, this is really awesome. So I see that enthusiasm in Pau, which just makes me want to work with him even more, because I know he has that investment and that level of passion So whenever I do work with him, I know I'm going to get his best work, and I'm going to get his commitment. He's going to be genuinely excited, just as I am when it comes to. And although I do get that with my artists now with Facundo. He's incredible. He's like he's one of the greatest artists that I've ever worked with, and I went through a long, arduous process of finding the right artist.
Yeah.
So when I found Facundo, and I still kind of get nervous sometimes because I've had so many bad experiences with artists in the past that I think, oh well, I don't like this. So if I tell Facundo, I don't know if he's going to be kind of weird about it. And then I let him know, I was, yeah, no problem, whatever, no big deal. Why we're nervous about this? I don't know why you were nervous about this. So
yeah,
and
yeah, that's some people can have this little ego that can get in the way sometimes. But if you're professionals, man, you can put that aside, and both your goal is to make the best book possible together. You should want the same end result, which is the best possible product. And sometimes you have to make some sacrifices. This doesn't work. Let's do something else. Okay, I don't like it, but okay, it's for the better of the story.
Yeah. You have to check your ego. That's for sure.
Right.
Both the writer and the artist. Everybody has to check their ego.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, of course. And I've had some. I've worked with some artists that didn't. It didn't work out because they didn't match well with the project, and initially sometimes we just try it. We think it's going to work, and then a few pages in, it's not giving me the results that I was looking for, and then we just have to part ways. It's just
What do you guys think of the general idea that people have that like writers aren't as important as artists are when it comes to the comic book industry? That's a stigma that's always bothered me. What do you guys think?
Dave, I'll let you go first because you're the host.
No, we're all the hosts, man. But well, the thing is, you do not have stories without writers. So you can draw pretty pictures and you can make art books, and that's all awesome.
And a lot of people are just in it for the art; they're not in it for the story.
No, well, that's fine. But if you want more meat to it, you want this actual story going on, and you want these characters to be living, actual beings, and with adventures and goals and heart and soul, then you need to write. You need to have this story, this richness to it, and that's the craft of writing. And it's not easy, I've been writing for a few years now, because initially I wanted to be an artist, but no one would write the stories that I wanted to draw the way I wanted to tell them. So I was like, I'm just going to tell it myself. So I had to learn it. And the first books are not my best, but later on they get better. And it's a craft. You need to actually learn it and spend hours in it and time in it, just like an artist does with his art. It's the same thing.
100%. And so following up on this, and Bristolian Dave kind of points this out to a degree, is writers and artists are equally important. Artists attract the readers, the writers keep the readers. Good art but no story is a pinup book. Good story where there's with no art is a novel. You need both for comics. And so this is the whole thing. Comics are a visual medium. Okay. The art is your best advertising, right? It's like it's interesting because, as we're growing up, we're always taught, never judge a book by its cover and what have you. But when it comes down to comics, art, the cover art is indicative of why people should come and take a look at the book. The interior art is what makes them follow through with the purchase, because they're going to flip through it really quick to make sure that there's not a huge degradation of quality between what's on the cover and what's inside the book, right? But what keeps people around is storytelling. And any single person that says, well, I don't really care about the story, I just care about the art, they're not being genuine. They're fans of that specific, it's generally they're fans of that specific artist and they want to support them, which is fine. But there's a reason why there are certain books that come out that have great art, but that are utterly forgettable. You know, there's a reason why, you know, Batman, All-Star Batman and Robin has Jim Lee art from when Jim Lee was in his prime.
Oh,
Are
that's
you
a classic.
seriously going to tell me that people are going out of their way to purchase All-Star Batman and Robin?
No.
It is garbage. Writing stories are one of the what I like to call the great unifiers. Okay, it doesn't matter what religion, race, culture, what have you that you've been brought up in. Everyone is tethered to one another through the appreciation of stories. We all connect with stories, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about a superhero punching a supervillain across the board. Every single person wants to hear something that can take them away from their real world and get them to relate to another being that has a world where the rules are set in a certain way. Okay, so writing in comic books is necessary, and it's not it's not something that you can just phone in. As Dave said, it takes practice. You know, it really does. It's not something that you can just go up. Well, I'm going to be a writer now. That we've seen that not work. I won't put any names out there, but every single one on this panel, every single person in the comments has backed campaigns in the past 5 years, gotten their books. It's looked beautiful, but the storytelling was like, could you have at least gotten an editor to catch your spelling errors or at least grammatical ones? And they're not put together well from a narrative standpoint. And as a result, those people, they don't have the same backing each time. They're not going to.
You will never hear this. You will never hear someone who actually understands what it means to write tell you that an artist is more important than the writer. So the only people who say that just don't know, just don't know what it takes, you know. And these ancient stories, these classical stories, like mythological stories that been with us for centuries, and they are being told again and again. But the core is always the story, and what changes is the visual that you use to tell the story. The visual is the vehicle to tell the story through.
Yeah. I've had people like I'll back a book and I'll read it and I don't like it, and I have people, well, you should give it another chance. Like, no, I don't need to give it another chance. If they didn't grab me with what they have out already, I don't feel like backing. I mean, because backing books is expensive. You know, it's like they don't.
And that's my whole thing as a reviewer. Hold on. Bristolian Dave says that's the one thing a lot of people of an indie can learn. There is usually a reason that the writer and artist are separate people. There are very, very few people that can do both well, and that's correct. I mean,
like John Byrne. God damn it.
Yeah, like Jack Kirby. You know, like there is a reason why there is a very select few people. You know, I love Todd McFarlane, but let me tell you, Spawn didn't really get good from a story standpoint until he backed off and let people like Neil Gaiman come in and write his scripts.
And there was a problem with all these early indie comics, except for the Savage Dragon.
Except for which one?
The Savage Dragon.
Savage Dragon. Yeah. Well, I mean, Eric Larson has gone off the deep end now, but yes, no, you're correct. Well, I've seen the Max was also very good, like very different than most of the Image stuff that you saw around that period in time. But like the Max was incredibly cerebral, which is one of those things where it's like Sam Keith effectively mixed comic books with Salvador Dali, and he hates it. I was just like, I don't understand, but it's so good. And he
Yeah,
just goes,
yeah.
no, it's trash. And I go, but it's so good. I don't
Um,
get it.
let me see. Apits Bill Sinin.
Oh,
Hello, guys. What?
just wearing this Avengers shirt. It's like a mashup of different covers, and it's got like Captain
Wait,
America.
let me make you
Okay.
large
We're
because
going to embiggen you.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is a fan of this kind of thing.
This shirt. Okay. So yeah, this is the shirt I'm wearing. I don't know if you can see it.
Look at this, Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye,
Okay. Yeah.
Hulk, and
Hulk.
I think Thor. Where's Thor? Thor's down here.
Down bottom, right.
Somewhere. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always
bought-
hard to do that whole pointing thing when you're looking at the thing on
Because
the
it's
start
reversed.
to point stuff. It's like, why is that not going where I want it to go?
Yeah, I think I
Because it's a
found this
reflection.
at I don't know if it was Walmart or JCPenney for like they have like graphic tees for like $10 a pop. It's pretty cool. So
Okay, guys. We're nearing the hour now. We have like 8 minutes left before the hour. So I wanted to close off with something we ended with last time, like the sequel.
mhm.
Because right now, if people visit
Is the website up? Is that what this is?
comics.com,
Yes.
they can actually see it. So it's live. It's active.
Nice. Very, 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 very cool. I
And
love.
It's so pretty.
I just like 2 hours ago put it live. I
Okay.
still had to do things, and I managed to do it before this stream. That was my goal, so I made it. But it's live now. It's a work in progress, so every time I will add stuff and update things. But that's how it's supposed to be.
And that gorgeous art I'm seeing was done by Pal.
No, this is
No?
by Either Messiah.
Okay.
And Either Messiah is the artist of Dreamgirl Sleeper Agent.
Which you can
And
get on the website,
Such
right?
a good book.
Which you can buy on the website. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
you can buy it on the website. And as much as I love Perfect 10, this, in my opinion, is Dave's best book that he's put out so far. That from all the ones that I've read, and I am literally dying for book 2, Dave. Dave laughs, but he knows that I literally ask him about it like literally every 2 or 3 months. I go, so Dave, when are we seeing more of my girl?
So
Yes,
how many books are for sale on the site right now?
9, I think. 9 books.
Outstanding, man! Congratulations, seriously.
Thank you.
This is a fantastic achievement.
And so the book that's not here is Perfect 10 issue 2, because I have this rule that I won't put a book that has been on a campaign in the store within the year after the campaign ends. So if you do not back the book, you have to wait for 1 year before you can buy it here.
Dave, do me a favor. Bring up Sleeper Agent. People need to see this. Go put up that first page. Zoom in on that. Look at this. Look at how insane this art book,
That looks really cool.
the art in this book is. And then
I love that monster design. It's really cool.
Yeah. And basically, I didn't design anything for this monster. I just told Either just go nuts, man. Make the cool monster. Make a monster you want to draw. That's what I told him.
Yeah.
And he came up with
just
this.
Look at the profile shot on Sleeper Agent in that too. So good.
Yeah. Either is phenomenal, and I've been talking to Either about the next issue. We really want to do that, but I can't do too many projects simultaneously. That's the thing, you know.
Dave. I know. I am just going to bust your balls until I see this Dream Girl Sleeper Agent issue 2 campaign, so that I can throw money at it.
Oh shit! I think I'm gonna get this. This looks great. I think.
Also, this character you see here, this character here, Ajax. He has his own book also, so you can let me see collections.
I am going to be getting that at some point because you said this is one that's created by somebody else that got brought into your universe. But Ajax was really fun in that issue, and his dynamic with Sleeper Agent was great. I still hate you for the ending of Sleeper Agent issue 1 and the fact that I've waited for like 2 years at this point.
Oh yeah, I know. I this is what I do when I write a new series. I try to round the first issue off in such a way that when it's not successful, I can leave it there, and I can continue the story within other titles. I really want to continue Sleeper Agent though.
Dude, I'm telling you, like especially after we do Bliss, like that should be one of your next. Like that should be either like I know that you're doing Perfect 10 issue 3, but like somewhere you've got to do Sleeper Agent because like you've already got the first book for that, and now you have a lot more of the platform that you didn't have when you initially did Sleeper. And I'm telling you, when people get a chance to read that first book and then paired with the second book, you've got another hit IP.
I know.
I'm telling you.
By the way, I'm still doubting if I should offer digitals through the website.
I think that you should. I actually think that that's not a bad plan, especially since you are international. And there could be people that are like, oh, man, I can get all these books that aren't too bad. And then they look at the shipping price. I think that offering the digitals on this platform is actually really strong because, again, this should be about expanding your market. And one of the best ways to do that is offer the most affordable option. So having digitals available, I actually think would be beneficial for this website model. It doesn't really work well on Indiegogo campaigns. I do not like it. When I did a digital tier for the 0 issue of Elysian Fields, I don't even think we got like 30 people back it out of almost 400. So like my policy with digitals with campaigns is if you back a physical tier, you get an automatic digital copy of the book.
Yeah, that's
the digital. That's the digital that's offered. But like
I would love to get these physically. I'm a physical kind of guy. I try to avoid getting digital, but Dave, you just had to live in another country, so the shipping cost is gonna kill me if I want to get these books. But,
well, I mean, if you get enough of them, I'm sure that the shipping balances out so that it's not so bad. But like imagine if somebody went and bought like a $3.49 like you got like a $3.99 book up there. They buy that and now they have to pay an additional $15 for shipping.
Yeah, I would probably get Ajax and Dream Girl.
But let me show you guys this about the shipping costs. I have here. We look here. You have this timer. This is our timer. This bar. It says
free shipping for orders over $60, right?
Yes,
that's outstanding. That's actually a fantastic way to drive that up. Here goes Dave just being good at his whole marketing thing. Just look at that.
And it doesn't matter if you're in the United States or Australia. I will ship it to you for free if you order over $60.
And that's actually not that difficult to do. You could do that by purchasing each one of those books right down there. Pretty much.
40. This is 40 together. So you have to push a little bit, but instead of when you buy these 4, and then you have the shipping costs together, you're over the $60. So you might as well add these extra 2 books.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I already have
that's very smart. I think that's genius.
Yeah. Okay. I will stop screen. Excellent, guys. Okay, people. So check out the website. Who will be the first one to buy something there? That will be exciting for me, man, to see that.
Go do it, Hero Geek. I already own all those books except Ajax.
Are they available digital? No, not yet. We were just talking about.
He's trying to decide that. I think that he should make And maybe it's a rule that they have to be out for a certain period of time in order for them to be sold digitally.
Yeah, well, I got to save a
You
little
can
money
do
because I'm gonna go see Ghostbusters Afterlife either today or tomorrow. So
Oh, the new Ghostbusters.
yeah, I'm gonna go watch that with my nephew. So
the one that critics are at war at because it is drastically better than the 2016 one.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't too difficult to make it better.
It's a low bar, but it's a bar nonetheless, and they're upset that it's blown my mind that nobody's calling the critics out for this, because up until this past week, Ghostbusters Afterlife had like an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then it's dropped down to like a 68% or a 66%, and it's literally critics tearing it apart because of the fan service and not being risky enough, not taking enough risks, and because they just they couldn't just do a sequel to the all-female one because they're cowards. And like that's literally what the reviews most of the negative reviews that I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen videos about it. I've looked into the whole thing.
I was just like, all right, cool. So I'll go see that. It's got like a 94% on the audience reviews. So I was just like, that tells me all I need to know. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that with my nephew. He's like 11, so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be cool.
Okay, well, let us know how it was.
Will do.
Okay, Ron, Michael, thank you too.
Always fun, always awesome. Yeah,
absolutely.
And as always, thanks to the chat for being here, for watching, and if you're watching in replay, thank you. I think we'll be back next week, right?
Yep.
Should be.
I don't see why not.
Do you have a stream soon, Ron?
I think I'm gonna try to have one on Sunday at 3.
Okay.
But I do have a new interview up on my YouTube channel with RJ, of the Fourth Age. So if you want to check that out, that's a really, really great interview.
I listened to it.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's the newest video that I have up there. I'm probably gonna do a couple of do a review of Peregrine and one other book. Try to get that recorded and up on my channel soon, maybe this week. So look for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. People can find your channel in the description of this video, by the way. So follow Ron. Michael, do you have things planned for your own channel?
Well, I don't know when I'm going to do it yet, but as I said, I read Wild Tales of Kyrie, and I do live stream reviews of indie comics.
Yeah.
So there will be a 9 Realms review of Wild Tales of Kyrie. What I will say is, recently I did a stream with Nefarious after a silly mishap where we thought we were streaming and talked about the subject for an hour and 45 minutes.
Ouch.
And it never went live because my internet was being garbage. But we did end up actually doing the stream within the next 30 minutes. And so if you're interested in learning about the difference between market growth and market inflation as it relates to the comic book industry, and why the current numbers don't support do not support that the industry is growing and that it's actually inflated. So if you're interested in that, go on ahead, hop over there. I believe we did that in an hour and 15 minutes. On the second try. It was actually, I think, better on our second take. So give that a watch.
Yep,
sounds good.
And I'll be back this Sunday with a drink with Brink, and my guest will be Brian Menard, the creator and writer of Siamese.
Yeah. So check out his episode from last Sunday where I was on. Check that one out.
I suppose I should probably get on a drink with Brink at some point here.
Oh, yeah, man. Do that. Out. Okay, guys. That's it for today. See you next time.
Cheers.
Later. Bye-bye.